Are you sick of going out to the same nightclubs and bars over and over again? They're extremely loud, and you've started to notice, especially since the pandemic, there are fewer and fewer attractive women going out. Well, it's not just you who's noticed that. Everyone else has. In fact, the nightlife economy across the entire world is starting to see a pretty massive correction. And part of the reason why that is because hot women aren't going out to nightclubs anymore. I have debates with people about this, and then I just take them out to a nightclub and I point to the dance floor, and it doesn't matter if we're in Miami. It doesn't matter if we're in Los Angeles. It doesn't matter if we're in Ibiza. It doesn't matter if we're in Dubai. Unless you are on stage with the artist, standing behind the DJ, or literally at some incredible mansion party, you will notice there's always more men than women in almost every venue. And when you get to things like dive bars and sports bars and restaurants, the ratio is even worse. What happened? For those of you who are my age, I'm 48 years old. You remember 20 years ago, you used to go out to a bar or a club, and it didn't matter if you were in Power and Lights District, if you were on Broadway in Nashville. It didn't matter if you were on 6th Street in Austin. It didn't matter if you were on McKinney in Dallas. It didn't matter if you were in Hollywood. It didn't matter if you were in Brickell. There were attractive women when you went out to bars, clubs, and restaurants. And something changed over the last 20 years. The first change happened with social media right around 2005, 2006. You started to see women started getting a lot more validation virtually rather than going out to a place to meet people or to be seen. So I just want you to consider this. It's 1995. You're an extremely attractive woman. You just got a new outfit. Maybe you got a new car. You want to show it off to people. There's no other way for you to show off your hotness or your status. There's no way for you to show it off to other people without doing one thing. You have to go out wherever the other people are. And it doesn't matter if it's a drive-through or if it was a nightclub or whatever. You had to physically go where other people were in order to be seen. What happened with social media is this is the first time two things happened. Number one, really high status men had the ability to reach out to attractive women very, very efficiently. And number two, women who were attractive and not so attractive for the first time were able to get massive levels of validation and huge dopamine hits by sitting at home and just posting pictures on the internet. So we first started off with MySpace about 2005. Around 2011-ish, we started getting into Instagram. But something else happened around 2007, 2008. We started to see dating apps and social media apps on smartphones starting around 2007, 2008. And then after that, you started to see a massive rise in the number of men going 1 year without sex. Now, some of you might be confused. Why in the world would dating apps cause more men to go without sex? The reason why was because dating apps did not help men meet women. Dating apps helped the highest tier of men meet the most women. Social media did not help men meet women. Social media helped the guys who have the most status and most exposure meet the most women possible. And so because of that, there was a large group of men who before used to go out and meet girls in real life because that's where they had the best opportunity. Those men were starting to get left behind. And the number of men that would go a year without sex, 12%, 18%, 22%, 23%, somewhere in that area. That's what happened. Now, around 2017, 2018, we start to see things like Sex Panther, OnlyFans. We start to see things like Patreon, where girls, a lot of whom would never have gotten into this line of work, see their friends making $40,000, $50,000 a month, and then they start getting into it. And yes, I know most women who go on OnlyFans don't make that much money, but you're still influenced by the fact that you may know some other girl who is. So now, let's go back through the three problems. Number one, the dating apps. What did they do? They caused women who were not necessarily that attractive to be able to swipe left on hundreds and hundreds of men. Whereas the average woman on a dating app would get one match for every 10 swipes. The average man on a dating app would get 6 matches for every 1,000 swipes. What dating apps did was generally confuse a lot of women into thinking that they were able to swipe left on hundreds and hundreds of men that they found wanting, that they didn't think were attractive. In fact, there's data that shows that women find 80% of men on these dating apps to be below average attractiveness. So you have women swiping left on hundreds and hundreds of guys. And in their mind, they think, oh, I could get these guys to commit. Any one of these guys could date me. And the reality is most of these guys would sleep with you, but very few of them would actually commit. But after left swiping on thousands of them and only right swiping on the top 4% of men that they would see on there, and then getting attention from those men, they started confusing one thing for another. Getting a man to sleep with you is not the same as getting a man to commit to you. If a woman can sleep with a 10, she thinks that she can get a 9 to commit, and often she can't. And these dating apps really perverted women's sense or women's ability to recognize whenever they were having a man that they could sleep with and confusing that for a man that they could actually get to commit. The second thing that was happening was because social media had become so prevalent, and for the first time you started seeing these like mid-tier celebrities, meaning like Tila Tequila would have been one of the first ones on MySpace. Dan Bilzerian would have been one of the first ones on Instagram. Once you started seeing these celebrities on these different places, and then also you started seeing actors, you started seeing musical performers, you started seeing athletes on here. Now these athletes and actors and celebrities would actually have people take over their social media account and message hundreds of women to try to get them to go to mansion parties, to get them to fly out. Tyga is notorious in Los Angeles for trying to get women to come to his video shoots. It's one of these things where all of a sudden this top tier of men were able to reach out to a ton of women. And then at the same time, these women were actually just posting pictures and getting hundreds and hundreds of likes from men that they didn't know. I've said this before and I'll say this again. A moderately attractive woman on Instagram is going to get more attention than an NFL quarterback. If you don't believe me, go look up an average NFL backup quarterback and look how many followers he has on Instagram in comparison to some girl that you see who just doctors her photos. It's not even close. It's 100 to 1. So because women were able to get so much validation virtually through OnlyFans, through social media, through dating apps, it caused fewer and fewer women to want to go out. There was another thing that created this problem. Over the years, these nightlife groups have become so big and so profitable that some of them were bought by publicly traded companies, others were bought by venture capital. And what those companies did is they had to solve for dollar per square foot. Well, if you guys have ever owned a nightclub or a restaurant, you know that dollar per square foot equals more men. The more men you get into a venue, whether or not you're showing NFL football and selling wings, or if you're at a Hooters or whatever, or even if you're a nightclub, men are the ones buying those tables for disproportionately high prices, meaning men are going to drop $20K to impress women to come to the clubs. In order to make more money, they wanted more and more men to come in, to pay cover, to buy drinks, to buy tables. Having more women came in became less of a priority. And because of this, nightclubs went from being female focused to being male focused. Again, you started having these people who were the accountants, the penny pinchers. They don't understand the purpose of a comp or why a guy should get a free table because he brought 6 or 7 girls. That doesn't show up on a balance sheet. He didn't understand that. And so the priority of these nightclubs to get tons of women to come in also diminished, along with what I mentioned before, which was social media giving women so much validation virtually that they just didn't have the need to go out anymore. So the solution, if you want to meet more incredible women, is not to go to more nightclubs. You might be saying, Michael, what am I supposed to do? You just said that girls don't go to nightclubs anymore. Where am I supposed to go? You just said that dating apps don't work anymore. What am I supposed to do? The word social media is a misnomer because most people don't use social media to be social. That's what you should do different. Step number 1, use social media in order to build events and to show high levels of status with low perceived effort. Use social media to be social. It's an incredible superpower. No matter how good you are in person, let's just say you're the greatest guy in the world in history at going up and talking to women that you meet. The problem is, if I'm not as good at you, but I'm on social media, my ability to scale is 100,000 times bigger than yours. Having your social media be on point, showing relevancy, competency, access to scarce resources, locations, networks, showing charisma, pre-selection, humor, and social proof are ways for you to get massive levels of attention from women who normally wouldn't pay any attention to you previously. These are also women who you're not going to meet in a nightclub. If you look, there's a lot of really attractive women who won't go to a single nightclub or a single party venue for an entire year, but every single one of them is on Instagram. So it gives you the ability to meet them that way. Guys, if you just want to jump to the solution right now and you want to figure out a way for you to meet amazing women without going to nightclubs, just go ahead and you can skip the rest of the video and just click the link below. But for the rest of you who want to hear it, stay tuned. After we understand the concept of using social media to be social, the next thing we want to do is that if we do cold approach, if we go to different places, different venues, we want to use cold approach to build a social circle. And the easiest way that I found to do that is when I do cold approach, I immediately am inviting these people, whoever I meet, to the next event I have coming up. I know, for instance, right now that there's Rise Festival in Las Vegas this weekend. The next weekend is going to be the grand opening of Marquee. On the 15th of October will be the Babes in Toyland Pink Party. On the 18th of October is going to be Fight Circus. From the 19th to the 26th of October is going to be Swimsuit USA. November 29th is going to be the Teddy Ball. December 4th is going to be Babes in Toyland in Los Angeles, and December 11th is going to be Babes in Toyland in Las Vegas. I have those already memorized. I know that when I go up and do cold approach, I'm going to go ahead and invite them to several events. Hey, would you like to come to this breast cancer awareness charity? Something to that effect. And then I'm going to exchange social media accounts. Remember, the first step I said was to fix your social media to show relevancy and competency. And now this connection is so much better than what you were doing before, which was going to nightclubs, going up to strangers, exchanging a 10-digit phone number, sending them a text, and then them having absolutely no idea who you are the next day. Instead, now they get to see your relevancy and competency, etc., on your social media after you go up to them and you use cold approach in order to build a social circle. The third thing I'm going to tell you to do is to build an amazing list of people that you want to network with. So for me, it's usually about 10 to 1 females to males. So what I'm going to do, if I have a party coming up here next week, I'm going to invite probably 4,000 women on social media and maybe 400 guys, maybe actually fewer than 400 guys. That's about the ratio that I'm looking for to end up with about 2 or 3 girls per guy in these events. So you might say, well, Michael, how do you build this list? It's very simple. You're going to go and find your dream girl on social media, whoever she is, your perfect archetype, the one that lives in your city. If you live in Jacksonville, or if you live in Waco, or if you live in Cheyenne, Wyoming, that perfect girl who lives in your city, you all know who she is. You guys were stalking her at the Hooters that she works at. You guys have all seen, she's the receptionist at your gym, whatever it is, that perfect girl that you like. You're going to look at her IG, you're going to look at the places she tags and the people she follows, and you're going to start to slowly build a list of similar types of women that you see in your area. It's going to take some time. You might even hire a virtual assistant in order to do this. This is something we teach you how to do in the Men of Action program. You're going to slowly build this list until you can get at least 2,000 women and 200 guys in the list. And when you do that, along with your ability to show relevancy, competency, access to scarce resources, locations, networks, humor, charisma, pre-selection, and social proof on your social media, and you have the ability to do cold approach to build a social circle, what you are now is beginning your journey in order to be able to get invited to amazing events and create amazing events where there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 girls for every guy. The next thing I'm going to explain to you, and some of you are going to have a really hard time with this, is you need to friend zone every single girl you meet. There's nothing wrong with you friend zoning a girl. You friend zoning a girl is totally fine. I highly recommend it. Friend zoning hundreds of girls, you'll be shocked at what's happened. They start to compete with each other for your attention. The problem is when you get friend zoned by a girl. Why is it you're getting friend zoned? It's always because you showed too much intent. So whenever we do these things like cold approach to build a social circle, or we friend zone a bunch of girls, we never show any intent. Women have to earn our intent. When you do that, you're very different from all the creepy guys that women usually encounter on the dating app, sliding into their DMs, or the few that do go out to nightclubs when they get hit on at the nightclubs. You're different because you don't telegraph intent, you make her earn the intent. So if you can friend zone hundreds and hundreds of women, make tons of female friends, there's 3 massive advantages you'll have. Number 1, those women will get you invited to incredible places. Remember, the point of this video, in the beginning, we were talking about hot women are not going to nightclubs anymore. I am the host of Swimsuit USA. I was the host of the Spy on Vegas Hot 100 at Wet Republic. I am the host of Paradise Challenge. I'm the host of Babes in Toyland. I'm the host of Teatro and several other events where there's several more women than there are men, all because a woman introduced me. In every one of those cases, I had incredible access to the Playboy Mansion because a woman, Crystal Hefner, Hugh Hefner's wife, was the one who would get me in there. Women give you unbelievable access to incredible locations where other beautiful women are. Number 2, if you guys were to join Men of Action right now, you were to click the link below and join Men of Action, I guarantee you in the first 3 weeks while you're in the program, I'm going to put you in front of your dream girl. The problem is when I put you in front of your dream girl, you will 100% fumble the bag. And the reason why is you're not used to being around women that attractive. You don't know how to act. Your voice cracks. Your eyes get big. You start getting these flamboyant, weird head movements. You start using verbal crutches, like awesome. Your voice inflection goes up. You start talking like a valley girl. Oh my God, let's buy a drink. You guys are awesome. Yeah. That's what happens when you're around a really attractive women. When I worked at a gentleman's club from 2000 to 2004, every day I would walk into the dressing room, there'd be 40, 50 girls, and they would just completely objectify and sexualize me every single day. And it got to the point where I would come to work, I'd go in the dressing room, there'd be naked women everywhere that I was totally desensitized to it. So that later, when I met the girl of my dreams, I was just like, I acted like she was a bro, like she was a dude. It didn't affect me. I didn't have the autonomic nervous system responses of the dilated pupils and the sweaty palms that that every single one of you would get if I put you in front of your perfect 10. So the second reason why you need to have a bunch of female friends and why you need to friend zone hundreds of women is so that you can get acclimated and you can get immersed in being around your dream girl. The third reason why you need a ton of female friends is that there is nothing in the world that you will ever do where you are going to meet more amazingly beautiful women who will almost instantly be attracted to you. Nothing you will do than having attractive women introduce you to other attractive women. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch the myriad of videos that we've made time after time where we interview girls, hot girls, under 25, beautiful, no tattoos, no OnlyFans, no nothing. And we ask them over and over again, how did you meet the last 5 guys that you dated? And every single one of them will say, a friend introduced me, a friend introduced me, a friend introduced me, a friend introduced me. He slid into my DMs on Instagram. It's the same answer every time. Having beautiful women in your life is the easiest way for you to meet beautiful women. Either they're going to introduce you to them. For instance, I'm going to a party on Sunday. I've invited 5 girls, and those 5 girls have invited another 5 girls that I don't even know. Or when I host Access Vegas, often I'll have girls bring other girls on my show. Or when I host Swimsuit USA, frequently I'll have girls bring their friends to come compete with them. So women are going to introduce you to other women. And there's another cheat code here, which is that when you have really attractive female friends that you go out into social situations with, and you go approach other beautiful women with those attractive women next to you, any of you who've ever tried this, you already know it's a cheat code. It's absolutely the way to where a woman looks at you, looks at her, looks at you, looks at her, and any of that resistance that you would normally get from that beautiful woman, it's gone because you did what's called a break in rapport. Most women are used to most men being low status, just wanting them for sex, super creepy, super weird, very uncalibrated, smelly, and most women who are really attractive, when you approach them, they assume in their mind that she is the most attractive woman you could ever get. But when you walk up to a woman and you have another woman with you who's as attractive or more attractive than the woman you're talking to, it completely breaks that frame. It's a massive pattern interrupt, and it's an absolute and total cheat code. And the final part is that you take all of these things that we teach you and refine for you, and in some cases do for you in the Men of Action program, the first 4 steps I just told you. We'll refine those so that you can help other people with their events, or you can build your own events. And at those events, there's always 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 women for every guy. Like when I used to go to the Ignite Mansion parties, there would be 2,000 women and 300 men at those different events. When I go to the Playboy Mansion, it was something similar. When I go to Babes in Toyland, there'd be 75 guys and 300 girls at those different events. We teach you how to get invited to those events. How do we do that? By having better social media, by having female friends invite you, and we teach you how to throw those events on your own. And in doing so, now you skip the quagmire of having to go to loud nightclubs to wait in line to where you're on a dance floor where there's 5 guys for every woman. You skip that whole thing. If you have a problem or any level of skepticism, if you're like, Michael, this doesn't work, there's no way this will work, do me a favor and do yourself a favor. Go to moamentoring.com/testimonials and watch the first 100 video testimonials. And if that's not enough for you, watch the next 100 video testimonials, and don't you ever consider buying a program unless they give you 100 video testimonials. This absolutely works. It is work for 4,000 of my clients. And what makes things even crazier is that there's new scientific data that's come out that actually shows that younger women and women who are more sexually selective actually are more attracted to men who show signs of pre-selection. Meaning there's data that shows that when men take pictures with beautiful women, it's actually younger and more selective women who find those men to be more attractive. I bet pickup artists didn't tell you that. So this is an absolute cheat code and a way for you to be able to generate attraction with tons of women while you sleep by using your social media, meet women that you wouldn't normally meet before by having your female teammates, be able to find all the incredible attractive women in order to build your events by doing cold approach to build a social circle and by building your list. And you learn how to build these incredible events by using all the techniques we teach you, including the event planning and the invite techniques in the Men of Action program. Listen, guys, we're coming up on the holiday season. Let's not end this year the way the last year went. Let's do better this year. I'm so excited. I've got 10 events planned for the next couple of months. When I go to these events, everyone I go to, there's going to be 100, 200 girls who all know my name. It's not difficult to achieve this. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients right now who are doing the exact same thing that I am. Each one of these techniques that I just told you, we refine to a granular level in the Men of Action program. If you want to learn more, if this has become a situation where you are sick and tired of going out to these venues and seeing the same girls over and over again that you aren't interested in, if you're sick of trying to use dating apps in order to meet women and you keep realizing that all you meet on there are single mothers, sex workers, and women with mental disorders, if you're sick of that and you finally want to make a change, a system that is evidence-based in evolutionary psychology, that is based on 25 years of experience and 4,000 satisfied clients, make sure you click the link below so you can finally make that change this year and make 2026 the best year of your life.